All right, ladies and gentlemen, hi and hello. It is week 3 of the NFL season here in a couple of hours. Focus on me right now, webcam. I have to come at you quick. I have to come at you unedited, unfiltered, raw. This is exactly why you come here. I got to get this out. I've been busy today, and I'm on a limited time frame. I'm here by myself. Brett is not here. I have his picks, so we're just going to get right into it, okay? Again, this video is probably going to be a little bit low effort, but honestly, I'm okay with that. I really am. I just have to get this out before this Thursday night game starts. The Carolina Panthers and the Houston Texans. Not going to spend too much time on this one. Davis Mills is the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans. If you were to tell Houston Texans fans back in January that come week 3 of the season, Davis Mills would be their starting quarterback, they probably would have jumped off of a building. I don't blame them. Davis Mills didn't look all that great in the preseason. Didn't look all that great against the Browns. Again, this was a third-round pick, a raw prospect. Didn't really expect for him to get into the game, into games this early. But that's the situation for the Texans. They've looked okay. They haven't looked terrible. Obviously, no Tyrod Hurts. And the Panthers look really good, 2-0. I think we all expected this offense to be good, but it's the defense that's really shocking, especially that pass rush. I expect the Panthers to win this game. You see, they're a -8. Brett and I both, I have Brett's pick right here. I have to make sure I have it up. We both have the Panthers in this one. But I guess you never know. It feels like every year we have one of these young quarterbacks who come in and gets a spot start or something, and then they really shock us, even if they don't go on to have like a great season. It just in a one-game sample size. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, weird Thursday night AFC South game. These games are always fucking weird and honestly kind of terrible. So we'll see. But we both have the Panthers in this one fairly easily. Let's get on to the next set of games right here. Washington football team and the Buffalo Bills. You see Buffalo -8.5. I made these spreads yesterday, so these might have changed. But -8.5 seems rather large to me, honestly. I've noticed this week in the NFL, there's like 3 or 4 really good games, and then like a bunch of really shitty games on paper, at least. You never know, but that's just the way that it looks so far. Oh, and by the way, week 1, Brett and I both went 8-8 in picks. Last week we both went 10-6. So we're both tied going into week 3. Okay, keep that in mind here. Buffalo Bills hosting the Washington football team. I still feel like, you know, the Bills won 34-0 last week, but I said this in my recap video. It didn't really feel like it. Like, the game was over, and you're like, damn, the Bills put up 34 points? Like, it was like a weird blowout win for the Bills. I still think that there's a lot they need to prove offensively, and we know what this offense is capable of, right? Josh Allen came into the season. Was he, like, the betting favorite for MVP? If not, he was up there. And this was the best offense in the league last year. I still think that, you know, we're going to see a breakout performance from them at some point, even though they did put up 34 points last week again. And Washington football team, you know, I'm a little bit shocked by the spread because Taylor Heineke has looked good in his 3 starts. He looked good last week against the Giants. It's really this defense from Washington that I'm a little bit concerned about, considering that was what was supposed to carry them this season. And the Bills defense has been the best in the league so far as points go. Brett and I are both going to take the Bills at home. I do think 8.5 is a little bit disrespectful, but I guess I do kind of get it. And, you know, who am I taking in the event of a shootout? Am I taking Taylor Heineke or I'm taking Josh Allen? Get real, okay? Let's move on to the next game right here. We have the Cleveland Browns hosting the Chicago Bears. Obviously, the big news in this one is this is Justin Fields' first NFL start. Andy Dalton will not be ready to play in this game. That makes things a little bit complicated. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Justin Fields, we know he's uber talented. Should have, could have, probably should have been a top 5 pick in this past draft. We know he's super athletic, 4'4". He throws a great deep ball. I'm very excited to see, even if I don't think the Bears are going to win, and Brett and I are both picking the Browns at home. You know, I just think this is a pretty tough first start for Justin Fields. But I'm still very interested to see what this Chicago team is going to look like. You guys know, if you watch the channel, I do not like watching this Bears team. I have not since the inception of this channel. They're just so boring. I'm hoping Justin Fields injects some life into this offense, man. What are we going to see? Are we going to see Allen Robinson finally get going? We're going to see some deep bombs to Darnell Mooney. Like, what are we going to get from this team? And defensively for the Bears, they've been all right. I don't trust that they can stop this vaunted Browns rushing attack that has just been dominant so far this season. Nick Chubb, he's so fucking good, man. He's got to be the best running back in the NFL. Okay, let's move on to the next game. Here we have again, another poopy game. The Baltimore Ravens in Detroit taking on the Lions. The Ravens coming off of a monster Sunday Night Football win over the Kansas City Chiefs, obviously. Or was that Monday night? That was Sunday night. And the Lions coming off of a Monday night loss. I think the Lions have turned some heads. They've played harder than I think some people might have expected. But I just do not trust this Lions team against this Ravens team. Even though we know what the Ravens do. They like to run the ball, right? And this Lions run defense hasn't been, I say they haven't been abysmal. Aaron Jones put up, what was it? It felt like 8 touchdowns. But like all of them are receiving though. I actually think that we see Hollywood Brown have another big week this week against the Lions. Give me the Lions in this, or the Ravens, I'm sorry, in this one. Brett also has, let me just make sure, because Brett sometimes sends some crazy ass upsets. All right, Brett does have the Ravens in this one as well. Let's move on to the next game. We have the Tennessee Titans hosting the Indianapolis Colts. And it sounds like, I mean, I couldn't believe this when I saw it, but it sounds like Brett Hundley is going to be playing in this game if Carson Wentz doesn't play, which it sounds like, as of the time I'm recording this, Carson Wentz is probably going to miss this game. Everybody assumed it was going to be Jacob Eason, right, who made his debut last week and threw a game-losing interception. It sounds like Brett Hundley might be the starting quarterback, and it sounds like they might have a plan to use both Hundley and Eason. I really don't like that. The Titans got a huge win last week. If they can put together a full 60 minutes of football, that is their next task, right? Because they looked god-awful week one. They looked horrible in the first half of the game against the Seahawks, and then they just had a monster second half. Derrick Henry had a monster second half. Julio Jones has also been really solid so far this season. So, if A.J. Brown doesn't have bricks for hands, the Titans might have won that game against the Seahawks rather convincingly. But, I'm just... Going into the season, I wasn't that big on this Colts team. Carson Wentz has honestly not looked terrible. He really has not looked bad in his first two starts. But, with him out, I really don't see a route for the Colts to win this game. The only real reasoning I can think of is that this is a divisional game, and especially an AFC South game, like we talked about with the Texans and with the Panthers, who I'm just now realizing aren't even a fucking divisional opponent. I don't even know why I said that. But these games are always really weird. These games are always really, really weird. All right, let's get on to the next game. We both have the Titans in this one. Give me King Henry on the ground, okay? We have the Los Angeles Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. This game is fun. This game is fun. The Chargers, I think, we need to see a little bit more from them. I'm convinced they are a playoff caliber team. I really am. Justin Herbert, outside of a few mistakes here and there. He did throw 2 interceptions against the Cowboys last week. He should have had 3 on a terrible, terrible defensive pass interference call. Outside of those, he's looked like damn near flawless so far this season. We know what Patrick Mahomes is. If I had to bet, right, I don't have the stats in front of me, but if I had to bet, I would be willing to bet my life that Patrick Mahomes has not lost back-to-back games in his career. Like, am I crazy in thinking that? They're coming off of a loss against the Ravens on Sunday night. I am concerned about this defense. Admittedly, I mean, it's hard not to be concerned about the Chiefs' defense. They have not looked good so far in their first 2 games. Granted, it was against the Browns and against the Ravens, 2 good offenses, and they're going to go up against another good offense here. Even though the Chargers offense has been a little disappointing so far, I just don't know. As much as I do like this Chargers team, as much as I do like Justin Herbert, I just don't know if they can keep up with the Chiefs, a divisional game in Arrowhead, coming off of a loss. I think the Chiefs are going to come out pretty hungry here and take care of business against the Chargers. And we could see Clyde Edwards-Helaire quite possibly have a nice game, right? He had that terrible fumble to pretty much lose the game against the Ravens, and this Chargers run defense has not been very good so far to start the season. So maybe we see a Clyde Edwards-Helaire game. I would not fucking bank on it. I traded his ass away. I'm so happy I don't have to deal with him anymore. All right, moving on to our next game here. We have the New Orleans Saints and the New England Patriots. Oh my God, what is this game, man? What are the New Orleans Saints? I mean, I really don't know. After week 1, I picked them to make the playoffs going into the season. I picked the Saints to make the playoffs going into the season. I thought, yeah, Jameis Winston, sure, he's a question mark, but the rest of the team is really good. I felt vindicated after week 1. Week 2, I'm left not knowing what the hell is going on. What's going on with this team? Jameis Winston is yet to pass for over 200 yards. Do we think he hits that mark against the Patriots defense? I really don't know. We know what Bill Belichick does against young, inexperienced rookie quarterbacks. Jameis might as well be a inexperienced rookie quarterback the way he plays sometimes. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Pats ramp up the pressure here, get a few takeaways, a few turnovers. Their run defense has been stout so far this season, and Kamara just has not been able to get going whatsoever. And Mac Jones has been, I believe I saw this today, the most accurate passer in the NFL this year. I think it's like a 90% accuracy rating. Granted, Mac Jones, if you watch the Patriots play, Mac Jones is throwing the ball 1 yard per play. I think they had a play last week where they did end around to, I don't remember who it was. Was it Jacoby Myers? End around to him. He threw it all the way back cross field to Daniel Jones. You're like, oh my God, this could be a crazy ass play. And then Daniel Jones threw like a 5-yard check down to Jonnu Smith for like a 15-yard gain. It was like, wow, all of that for a fucking 5-yard check down. I really like what I've seen from Damian Harris so far. But again, the Saints defense has, outside of last week, which again, I don't even know what the takeaway should be from the Saints team. Because I was going to say their defense looks good, but you have like the abysmal performance that was last week. God. I just have no idea what to think of the Saints team right now, and because of that, give me Bill Belichick. Give me Bill Belichick in a game where I just have no idea what to expect. This is one of those games where everyone expects it to be like just disgusting and low scoring, and because of that, I could see it being a wild like 35-33 finish or something like that. But we're both gonna take the Patriots. Let me make sure. Yeah, we're both going to take the Patriots in this game. Next up, we have the Giants and the Falcons. Battle of the 0-2 teams. So far, I'd say the Giants have definitely looked better. Thursday night, their offense played surprisingly well against the Washington football team. Daniel Jones had one of his best games in a very, very long time. Maybe the best game of his career, damn near. And they're going up against a Falcons defense that has just looked abysmal. On the flip side, the Falcons, week 1 was just a monstrosity. They looked absolutely pathetic and embarrassing. Week 2, they did get blown out, but that game was a lot closer than the score indicates, right? There was two pick sixes in a row there in the fourth quarter. Both to Edwards, both to the same guy. And they looked a little bit more competitive. My heart says the Giants, right? Because I think we could maybe see a repeat. Daniel Jones runs the ball, get him out. We could finally see a big Saquon game, a Kenny G game against this bad Falcons secondary. But this is also a game the Giants lose. Like, this just screams New York Giants lost to me in a game that the Falcons really don't have too much business winning. Like, I think the Falcons win 3 games this season, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. I think that they go into the Meadowlands and win. And it's not anything X's and O's. It's not anything on paper. It's just, this is a New York Giants loss right here, ladies and gentlemen. It's a classic New York Giants loss, okay? I'm going to take the Falcons. Brett is taking the Giants. That's the first time we've differed so far in this episode. Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. A nice little AFC North showdown here. Man, I just don't like this Bengals team. I really don't. And honestly, at the same time, I don't really love this Steelers team all that much. They're absolutely decimated with injuries so far on the defensive side of things, which sucks because that's what's going to be carrying them to victories. The Bengals have just had like 6 or 7 good drives in total so far this season, and then the rest of their drives have looked completely incompetent and inept. You know, Joe Burrow threw 3 interceptions in a row last week against a good Bears defense, but the Steelers defense, even with their injuries, is probably better. At home, the Steelers, I think that they would want to get a big divisional win, but this would also be a big win for, Joe Burrow and this young Bengals team, but I just have no faith in Zach Taylor, man. I mean, what do you want me to say at this point? I'm going to take the Steelers in this one at home. I think if this game were in Cincinnati, maybe I'd feel a little bit spicier. But since this game is in Pittsburgh, a divisional game, and coming off of a loss for the Steelers where they just didn't look all that great, I'll take the Steelers in this one. Hopefully that offense gets going a little bit. What's the deal with Deontay Johnson? Is he playing or not? What's going on with him? I'm not entirely sure. All right, let's move on to the next game. We both have the Steelers there. We have the Arizona Cardinals and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's just go ahead and put our heads here for Arizona. The Jags obviously have not looked great so far. I don't know why I have the record at 1-1. They are not 1-1. They haven't even come close to winning a fucking game. The record is 0-2. Okay. The Cardinals, I also have 1-1 here. I must have fucked this up. The Cardinals are also 2-0, obviously. So ignore these records. Okay, I messed it up. The Cardinals just look like a much better team right now. The Jags, there's just not much to say about them, so I don't really feel like talking about them all that much. A home game here, a chance to get the first win of Trevor Lawrence's career. I mean, it would be a big win against a team that looks like they're probably going to make the playoffs in Arizona, but I just don't trust Urban Meyer. I mean, if Trevor Lawrence throws 2 picks, they're going to lose this game because I don't think their defense is capable of getting too many stops against this Arizona Cardinals offense, so we both have the Cardinals. In this one, moving on, we have the Jets and the Broncos. Zach Wilson threw 4 interceptions last week. This Broncos secondary might be the best in the NFL. If it's not, it's a top 3 secondary unit. So I would expect more interceptions to come. It's a Zach Wilson interception experience. I expect more this weekend. Teddy Bridgewater has looked absolutely phenomenal so far this season. Cortland Sutton looks like he's getting into form. I think this Broncos team is going to be really good. Like, if Teddy can continue this level of play, obviously it's not like an MVP level of play. He's throwing the ball downfield more than any quarterback in the NFL so far this season, which is crazy. But if Teddy can keep up this level of play, being like a Pro Bowl level quarterback, this Broncos team has a pretty damn high ceiling. I'm going to be honest with you. We both have the Broncos in this one. Again, like I said, like, there's a few good games on paper this week, and the rest are just terrible. Next up, we have the Raiders and the Dolphins. Obviously, Tua's missing this game. We both have the Raiders in this one, so I'm just going to keep our heads right here. Tua's missing this game. Jacoby Brissett is starting. Vegas, for whatever reason, does not like their own team. I have been baffled by the spreads for the Raiders so far this season. Obviously, week 1, I thought the Ravens were, a -3? I thought that was really low, and the Raiders obviously ended up proving me wrong. Of course, that was the first time I bet in like a year. Of course I fucked it up. And then last week, they were like a full touchdown underdog to the Steelers. I didn't understand that. Now they're only a 3.5-point favorite at home against Jacoby Brissett. Like, I really don't get that. I'm guessing, the Dolphins are coming off an embarrassing loss, but even then, like, even with Tua, their offense had not looked all that inspiring so far this season. This Raiders offense looks phenomenal. This Raiders offense looks really good, and their defense is really been surprising so far this season. This is a defense that we all kind of assume would be a bottom 5 unit in the NFL, and they're really playing well. So we're going to go with the Raiders in this one. I just, no Tua. I like Jacoby Brissett. I don't think he's horrid. You know what I mean? But he's a backup quarterback for a reason. So I just, against this hot Raiders team at home, yeah, I'll go ahead and take the Raiders in this one. Moving on, we have here we go. The best game of the week by far. This is, in my opinion, the two best teams in the NFC. The Bucs going to LA to take on the Rams. I saw this was Tom Brady's first game in LA in his career. I don't know why that was like being talked about like it was some crazy ass stat, because haven't the LA teams only been back for a couple of years? Like, I didn't understand why that was such an insane stat. But anyways, God, this is a good game. This is a good game, and I've been going back and forth in my head for hours now just thinking about this game. I will say that Brett has the Buccaneers in this one. I think I'm going to ride with my team that I picked to make the Super Bowl out of the NFC, and I'm going to pick the Rams. The reason for that is, as good as this Bucs team is, and they have been great so far this season, their offense is absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, this will be by far the best defense the Bucs have played this season, right? The Cowboys defense, it looks okay. It looks all right. The Falcons defense, it's not okay. It's not all right. It's shit. This Rams defense will be by far the best defense the Bucs have played. And for the Rams, they can exploit the secondary. This Bucs secondary has not been very good. It's easily their weakest part. Darrell Henderson's hurt, and that does concern me a little tiny bit. Sonny Michel looked okay last week, but I don't know how much they're even going to look towards the run game in this against just a beast of a run defense in Tampa Bay. I think Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, who's been phenomenal, big-time Cooper Kupp fantasy owner, I'm so happy. Robert Woods, I think Higbee, hopefully. I think that these guys have a field day. I think McVay wants to come out I'm guessing this game is the game of the week on Fox, on what's essentially a primetime game, and get a big-time win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. I think it would send a message across the league that the Rams are that team. And that's what I'm hoping to see this weekend. I got the Rams. Brett has the Bucs. Next, let's move on to the Seahawks and the Vikings in Minnesota. Seahawks only 2-point favorites. A little bit surprising to me. The Vikings obviously are 0-2, but they could very easily be 2-0, right? Dalvin Cook fumbled, but didn't really fumble. If they don't call that a fumble, then the Vikings probably win that game, and then you have the missed 30-yard chip shot at the end of regulation against the Cardinals. He hits that. They're probably 2-0. But you can't do that, obviously. The Seahawks are 1-1 after an embarrassing overtime loss last week against the Titans. Absolutely no excuse to lose that game with how much you were up in the fourth quarter. This one is hard. I'm not going to lie. I think I saw this as the biggest over-under of the week. That doesn't surprise me. This could be a fun shootout, a fun game to watch here. Brett's going to go ahead and pick the Seahawks. Oh, man. Dalvin Cook has not practiced the last 2 days, and that does worry me. Like, Alexander Mattison is a fine backup, but he does not give you what Dalvin Cook gives you, and Dalvin Cook looked really good against the Cardinals last week. Still kind of waiting for Justin Jefferson to really go off. Oh, man, this is a tough one. I think I'm going to take the Seahawks. I'll take the Seahawks. I don't feel great about it. I really want to pick the Vikings, especially because the Vikings have not looked terrible. They're 0-2, but they don't look like some of these other 0-2 teams, right? And the Seahawks could also, like, both these teams could easily be 2-0, right? But instead they have a combined 1 win. I think that I'll go with the Seahawks. Give me Russell Wilson, I guess. Wanting a bounce back after really not a good showing last weekend. Next up, we have the Sunday Night Football game, the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. This one is a good one as well. You see San Fran is 3.5-point favorites. That's a little bit surprising to me, honestly. A little bit surprising to me. Brett is going to take the Packers. Man, I love this San Francisco team. I really do. But I think that they're going to lose this game, and I think it's probably for the best long-term, because they have not looked good so far in the first 2 weeks. Not as good as you would expect. Not as good as you would hope from a team that has, I would say, Super Bowl aspirations in the San Francisco 49ers. Their offense really needs to figure it out. And until Trey Lance, I tweeted this out, man. Kyle Shanahan, he's barely getting his best receiver. Some people say Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk is so fucking good. He's barely getting Brandon Ayuk involved. Your third-round rookie, Trey Sermon, only has 1 carry. Obviously, he got a concussion and fumbled in that 1 carry. It's pretty hard to have a worse first carry in the NFL than that. I think he's going to play this weekend, but even then, they have like 35 running backs on their roster. Half the roster right now is running backs because they're so injured there. And Jimmy G just blah. I'm excited to see Trey Lance in this offense. And until then, I don't know if we'll see the true ceiling of this team, but give me the Packers, I guess, on the road. Another primetime game for Aaron Rodgers. And, they just look good. They look really, really good last week against, of course, the Lions, who aren't good, but still. They came out and took care of business after an embarrassing Week 1 loss. And then finally, Monday Night Football. Here we go, baby. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know how deep I want to get into this game because I don't know if Brett wants to do like a more in-depth preview tomorrow. But I'll talk about it a little bit. Brett's obviously taking the Cowboys here, which is funny because a week ago we were both like, why would we ever pick the Cowboys? This game is hard, right? And the only reason I think that is because it's NFC East. NFC East games are always fucking weird. And the Cowboys and Eagles almost always split their games, right? I tweeted out, and this was emotional and reactionary. If you follow me on Twitter, you know pretty much all my tweets are emotional and reactionary. In the first half of the Eagles game, when their defense looked amazing, I think going into the halftime, the score was, 7-3 or something against the Niners. I was like, man, the Eagles, it looks like they might steamroll the East. Jalen Hurts looks pretty okay. He looks fine. He looks good enough. Their defense just looks smothering. But I think if you're looking at it objectively, now that a couple of days have passed since the end of week 2, the Cowboys just look like the best team in the NFC East by a lot, I would say. And unless the Cowboys cowboy it up or deal with injuries, I don't see any excuse why they shouldn't win this division. Just going to be 1,000% honest. I'm a little bit concerned about Jalen Hurts' running ability and this defense's ability to stop that. But having a player like Micah Parsons, who is as fast as he is and as good as attacking the ball as he is, I think that you can contain Jalen Hurts as much as you can expect to contain him. Hopefully you can protect it against, Jalen Reagor deep bombs or even that, that Watkins dude who caught that 90-yard bomb last week. I'm going to take the Cowboys as well. It's just, I think they're a better team. I just think they're a better team. The Eagles' defense is great, but they're dealing with a bunch of injuries now, too. They got some COVID stuff going on. I think Ertz might miss this game due to COVID. The Cowboys, this is a tough one. I mean, it is. Anytime the Cowboys and Eagles play, it's weird. It's very weird, but I'll go ahead and take my boys, the Cowboys, going 2-1 and solidifying themselves as the best team in the NFC East. If the Cowboys lose this game, I'm going to throw up. I'm just going to be 1,000% honest with you. I'm going to be sick to my stomach. So I hope they come out and they win. All right, that's all I got for you guys. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. You guys know all of that good stuff. I don't want to make too many promises, but there are some Amazon orders on the way that are going to up the production quality of this channel in the very foreseeable future. I don't want to make too many promises because there's a chance I have no idea how to set the shit up and it's a total failure. But be on the lookout for that in the coming days, okay? I will talk to you guys later. I will be streaming this game on Monday night. The Cowboys and Eagles game, we will be streaming it, obviously. Sunday, I'm not going to stream. I'm just going to watch the games. And, yeah. All right, goodbye.